On what we're doing at the moment in Sotogrande with medical insurance, obviously we have a lot of information about the person who's coming, and there's a big influx of Europeans. People coming back who've left Sotogrande, had a policy with us, moved to Portugal for the reasons we know about, usually tax, but suddenly deciding, oh, remember that policy we had, could we have it again?
Right.
And they're coming back from Portugal, so we're seeing a lot of that. DKV offer the state-of-the-art treatments sooner than the others.
Yeah.
Others will follow in due course, by which time, hopefully, DKV have added a few more.
Yeah.
You know, each year in January, I check to see what's been added to the policy.
Right.
90% are coming because they don't like Trump. They tell us, oh, we've got to get out of America. It's gone mad, you know. But it's increased since Trump's got into power.
Yeah. Today I'm joined by Francis Payne, a long-time resident of Sotogrande and the director of Tailormade Healthcare Spain. Francis has been living here since around 2006 and brings a wealth of insight into what it truly means to build a life in this part of the world. From real estate and community life and to navigating the crucial world of private healthcare and insurance for expats and locals alike. In this episode, we talk about his journey, practical tips from anyone moving to Sotogrande, and how healthcare insurance works here in this country. Francis, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
I'm very, very happy to have you on because one of the big things that people ask me about in the real estate business is about healthcare. And I know you've got this I don't know what you call it, an office, insurance company, DVK.
Yes, we have an insurance agency. We're an exclusive agent for DKV. DKV Seguros.
And that's German originally?
That's a German company. They're the second biggest insurer in the world. Lloyd's are first, and then Munich Re is the second.
Right.
And they're owned by Munich Re, but they are an established Spanish national company.
Right. So just for the audience and the listeners that are here, we'll get into that. But just before that, Francis, tell us a little bit about why you are here. You've been here nearly 20 years. Where were you in the UK? You're British, I assume. And why did you come out to Spain? What was the attraction?
Yeah, we're an English family. I had several estate agencies in the Poole and Bournemouth area, and they were getting very busy. And one particular one was getting very, very busy down in Sandbanks in Dorset. And because of the level of the volume, must mess that one up, because of the level of business we were doing, I was finding it very stressful.
Right.
And that wasn't the direction I wanted to go in.
Right. So a place in the sun. That's what you
wanted. Yes, we had bought a small villa in Sotogrande in the F zone.
Okay.
And we used that for holidays.
All right.
The ironic thing is, once we started to come down to the villa, we were only doing a week here and a week there.
Yeah.
Once we started to do that, we decided, why not move here permanent? So.
And how did you find the Sotogrande in the first place? How did you find that little villa in the F zone in the first place?
It was interesting because my brother, he was employed by the San Roque Club to install their first computer system.
Okay.
So it was the San Roque Suites Hotel at the time,
right.
And they didn't have a computer system. He installed the whole system, and then they asked him to stay on for another 2 years to oversee and maintain it.
All right.
He also put the GPS in their original buggies.
Okay.
So with him being here, we used to get some discount to come and stay in the hotel. So most summers we'd have our 2 weeks in the San Roque Hotel every year.
Right.
And did that for about 5 years, and then decided to look at buying somewhere.
Okay, so then you bought, and then you had this little place, and then so that was before 2006. I mean, obviously, well before.
Yes, 1998, I think, or 99. Yeah,
more or less the time I first bought here as well.
Yes, yeah,
99. Yeah, so and your kids went to school here, I gather. You know.
Yes, the youngest was 2 years old, and the older daughter Melissa, she was 7 years old.
Okay.
They both went to the international school in Sotogrande. Enjoyed that. They really enjoyed being there. The move wasn't as difficult as we thought it was going to be, and I think the younger one, Tilly, she was accepted at 2 years and 8 months into the nursery.
All right.
I think the following year they decided that 3 years was the cut-off.
Right.
But so they went to the school.
It's gone the other way now. I think it's 6 months you can take a baby there.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
it's not even a nursery. It's like a place to leave your baby while you go to work. Was the school up at the top there?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
So
they
it really moved from here. Okay.
But it was a lot smaller then than it is now.
Yeah, it was half the size. But still an international school, wasn't it?
Yes.
Doing the IB.
Yes, they did the IB. Yeah.
How did you feel that? How did that go? The education side of things. I mean, for listeners,
it went very well. One went to Manchester University, the other went to Bath.
Yeah.
We were hoping that one of them would go to a Spanish university, but they
Right.
opted to go to
Right.
the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do they do? They read the economics or?
The older daughter, Melissa, she did psychology at
Mhm.
Bath, and the younger one is she did media and English.
Okay.
She's now employed at JD Sports head office, and Melissa works in Marbella, and she's works online and
Right.
self-employed.
So one stayed in the UK and the other one found Spain as their home because.
Well, she went to Thailand for 4 years and then came back to Spain.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So
Yeah.
so the feet that wander around the world is great. But yeah, kids become international, don't they? They and also at the school they meet many other nationalities.
Yes, that's one of the benefits of the school was the community there and the different nationalities. I find the kids that come out of that school, they go in there shy.
Yeah.
And they come out of there very confident.
Right. Is that, do you think, very different to the British system? Which is very much...
Yes, definitely. It's very much more of a social community in the school.
Yeah. No, I have I've met other parents who've told me, my child is relatively shy, and when I went to the first something where they had to stand up on the stage, and there was my kid, talking and being very easy to listen to and on the stage. And
that's exactly our experience. Yeah.
And you say, wow, this is something totally different. So you came down here at school. Your poison is golf, I gather. You're a golfer.
Yes, paddle for 14, 15 years, but about a year and a half ago I stopped playing paddle, only to increase the golf. Right. I play golf regularly at the
Not like me, knees. Bad knees.
Not bad. No reason at all. I just decided that I'd done enough of paddle and I'd do a bit more golf. Probably play 3 or 4 times a week.
As a person coming to Sotogrande, a family coming to Sotogrande, I've listened to other guests of mine on the podcast. School helps you with your social life because you meet other parents, and here, in particular, paddle helps a lot as well. If you get into the paddle clubs, you're meeting people because of the mix-in situation that they have. It's relaxed. It's very social because you play a set, have a beer, you meet people. Was that your experience?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Through the school, it was with 2 children at the school. It was birthday party after birthday party. All the adults seemed to create the birthday parties and invite all the parents. Right. So that was the first thing. Paddle club, again, 2 different paddle clubs. I used to go to both regularly, and again, beers afterwards. Meet people, and strong community here. Once you get into the community, you start to find that you've probably got too much social life.
Well, I mean, exactly. I mean, I remember when I used to play paddle with you many years ago, and golf and everything else. It was like, on holiday every day, even though you maybe have some work or a lot of people at the time maybe didn't even work at all. And it was all play, and it can be too much of a thing.
Yes, I think that's where my estate agency didn't go so well. And I lost interest really. So I'd done it for 37 years. Yeah. And I came here, and do I open the office? There's not a lot going on at the time. Yeah. 2008 was not a good year. Yeah. Do I open the office or do I go and play golf? And once we got through 2008, things improved.
Yeah.
But I'd already had it in my mind that I wanted to down to
and if you have 40, 50 years of hard work, you want to have a nice retirement and or certainly a partial retirement, which is what we all like to do. So you started the real estate here, didn't really get too much enamored with it, and it was difficult times as we all know in 2008, not only here but elsewhere in the world. But then you started with this healthcare thing.
Yes.
How did that go?
Real estate wasn't that busy. Volume of sales wasn't great around that time, and I just took on a small agency. People were moving over here and needing some medical insurance for their visa. So
how does medical services generally, the Spanish system, is that something that you think is good? The equivalent of national health. First of all, you have to be a resident to be able to qualify to be on it. Otherwise, you're coming as a foreigner. You might be coming from the UK,
Yes.
France, Germany, wherever, and you come to Spain, and you need health insurance or health cover
Yes.
in any sense. What's your experience with different nationalities coming and all that? How does that work?
Well, the public healthcare works quite well here. Primary care is very good. I've just been to the doctors this morning at the Centro Medico, and I waited about 3 minutes. I booked the appointment 3 days ago, so that goes quite well. As with all public health, where the issues tend to be around waiting on results, waiting on appointments. So they take a lot longer to get a diagnosis, and obviously early, health is all about detection early. Once they know you've got something wrong with you in the public health system, they're great, fantastic. All hands to the pump, you get the treatment, you get the care, and they're very good. But it's just that in-between period of getting to your diagnosis.
Right.
Waiting 7 weeks for a scan result is too long. Waiting 3 months for the doctor, or even 6 months for the doctor, is for the specialist is too long. So the private healthcare fills that gap.
Yeah, and it's only available to residents. In other words,
No. There's different levels of policy. I mean, we offer 11 levels of policy. What people aren't aware of is they arrive here with a worldwide cover, Bupa, AXA, and they maintain the policy. That's the one they've had. If they've got issues, they've got no choice but to maintain that policy because no one else will insure them if they've got serious heart condition or serious problems. But they come over here and they have that policy. Well, what they may not be aware of is some wording in that policy that says you have to reside in the country where you take the policy up. So an AXA policy is no good to you here, really, or a Bupa policy that you've taken out in the UK. If they find out that you're resident here, permanent resident here, then they could get out of a claim. When I moved here, we had Bupa, and I wrote to Bupa saying we're going to be resident in Spain permanently, and they said, sorry, Mr. Payne, but you now have to
go to
Sanitas, which is what we did at the time, until we discovered DKV was a better cover.
Right.
So, but yes, so we opened, in the end, myself and Andy Beckwith, who you know, we opened the office in a little office next to what was Fisher Mercedes, GMS cars now. Opened office 2 doors along from them, and we work our way through the week selling our health insurance.
So how does that work? Because if you want to apply for a visa in Spain, I gather you need to have health insurance privately. Is that correct? How does that work?
You don't need to be a resident to have health insurance.
Okay.
There's certain levels of the policy that you can have as a non-resident, and we have many customers who follow the 90 days in 180 rule, and they have a Spain-only coverage.
Right.
So you don't have to be a resident. Our main business is people with visas, or who need a visa. They're coming over, mainly NLV visas, the non-lucrative visa. We probably have 70, 80 inquiries a month, all looking for visa and need a policy that complies with that visa.
And that's changed dramatically since Brexit, from the British perspective?
Yes. Obviously, when Brexit happened, we couldn't get policies set up quick enough. They were just flooding through the door, people asking for policies. Now it's steadier with the British,
Yeah.
and interestingly, a lot of Americans.
Yes.
50% of our business at the moment is Americans.
Wow.
They need a policy. We set it up. They're in America. We're here. We set it up with email and digital signatures and things like that. And they apply for their visa. There are a lot of policies out there that people try and use a visa, but with those policies, they could get rejected.
Yeah.
There's 9 points that you are required to have that meets the visa criteria in a medical insurance.
Right.
So
Some of them don't. Some foreigners don't.
quite a lot of Spanish policies miss one or two of those points. A lot of people go through with the policy, but at the same time, if you're missing one or two of those points, it only takes one official to know that,
Yeah.
and you get rejection.
Cool.
Yeah. So
50% of your new clientele are Americans. Are they moving to Spain in this area, or they find you because of the service you provide? I mean,
yes,
it doesn't follow.
obviously
They might be buying in San Sebastian, or they might be buying in Madrid, but they find you as a provider of.
Yes, we market nationally, so we have a radio advert that does all the Costas with Spectrum FM. But we do market nationally, so we're getting Americans who want to move to Valencia.
Yeah.
They want to move to Alicante, Murcia. They
Right.
want to move Sotogrande.
Yeah.
So we're getting people all over Spain.
All over Spain,
Even
yeah.
Pontevedra up in the north. Renzi, we've done a policy this week.
Right.
It's just expats moving to Spain who need the policy for visa.
Out of interest, I mean, do you get to engage with these people, or is it just they apply and you?
Yes, people think we're doctors, So the funny thing is, people ring us up for every medical thing, question possible, and we have to say, look, we can guide you towards finding the right doctor. We can provide ideas about what medical solutions there is for certain things, and that's the good thing about having an agent who knows the policy. After 10 years of doing medical insurance now, we've deal with hundreds of people week in, week out, all with medical illnesses, all looking for cures and looking for diagnosis, and you get to learn things from that, including what your actual medical insurer provides. It's not always, you can say to a medical insurance company, do you cover cancer? They're going to say, yes, of course they are. And their policy does cover cancer, but to what level? That's the thing. Is your cancerous lump going to be removed by a scalpel, or is it going to be removed by a laser guided piece of high end technology, state of the art?
Right. Some do, some don't.
Some do, some don't.
Yeah.
It's usually reflected in the price of the medical insurance. If it's a cheap one, it's not going to have the bells and whistles. The more expensive ones, the better the cover generally.
I'm sure you've got a couple of anecdotal stories of Americans saying, I'm coming to Spain, I need health insurance, and I'm coming because something's happening in America that's making them come over here.
I would say 90% of them are coming because they don't like Trump.
Is that right?
Yes. So 90% are coming because they don't like Trump. They tell us, we've got to get out of America. It's gone mad, But that it's increased since Trump's got into power.
Yeah. And tell me, are they sort of ex families from Spain? Are they Rodriguez's and Sanchez's and Gonzalez's?
Not at all. They're not just people who want to live in Europe. I'm sure other countries are getting them as well, but we're seeing a fair share of them.
No, I think because of the Latin. I mean, somewhere read that 50% of all Americans are coming up from Florida.
Yes.
And most of those are Latinos who have moved, wealthy Latinos who have a life, and then just and because of the routes back to Spain, as many people have routes back to Ireland and get an Irish passport. They can get a Spanish passport and become residents of Europe very easily.
Most of those are probably going to Spanish agents because they're looking for adverts in Spanish or promotions in Spanish, whereas we're only promoting in English.
I see.
I speak fluent Spanish, so I can help a Spanish person. I can, but for English people coming to Spain and worried about healthcare, and the family, you want to know you've got good access to doctors. The biggest problem, and Trustpilot is full of bad reviews with Spanish private health.
Really?
Full of bad reviews. Because we're getting people take policies out, they're in a rush, they need a visa, can you get me the policy? They buy the policy, and then they don't understand it.
Yeah.
Suddenly they're down the road paying a doctor 500 euros, and then the doctor's saying, well, you'll claim that back from your insurer. They send the bill off to the insurer, and the insurer says, sorry, this isn't a reclaim policy.
Yeah.
Your policy works different.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
run to Trustpilot, complain, the medical insurance ripped us off, they're not covering us. You know, but they don't understand the policy because it's in Spanish.
Yeah.
So to have an English agent who provides the documents in English, and who, once you have the policy, is still there at the end of the phone, email us a question about you need something, you're worried about something, you have a query about the cover, drop us an email in the morning, go shopping, you'll have an answer by the time you get back with us.
Right. Unless you're playing golf.
Unless I'm playing golf.
Yeah.
Well, we prefer people to ring us up in the morning.
Of course. What sort of costs is this, an insurance? I mean, what's sort of the most cover you can get, and the sort of...
Yes. Well, I mean, I can insure a 60-year-old person on a Spain-only policy in this area for around 140, 150 a month.
To cover you on...
To cover you in Spain only, using the listed doctors in the national medical network. But at the same time, I can offer you a level 11, that's level 1 policy. I can offer you a level 11 policy of DKV, which will probably cost a 60-year-old in the region of about 800, 900 a month.
Right.
And that's a worldwide cover, 100% reclaim, 80% on dental.
Right.
But 11 levels gives you a choice. You know, people obviously shop around for the best. If it's all about healthcare, not just visa, then people will shop around for the best level they can afford. That's gonna you know, keep their family happy.
In our area here in Sotogrande, we have a dentist right next door. We have many other dentists. We've got the hospital down in Palmones. We have the other ones in Stepona. Do they all accept
DKV?
DKV?
Well, it's all about medical networks with insurance in Spain.
Yeah.
For the visa, you have to have a policy that offers you the network, a national network. It's got to be in all provinces. So it's all about medical networks. The doctors in the immediate area all charge too much to be part of a medical network. In other words, they're so busy locally that they don't need to take on volume.
Right.
So for those people who have policies in this area, they're going to need a reimbursement policy if they don't want to go more than 3-4 minutes.
Right.
My family use Chiron a lot. Chiron up in Palmones.
Yeah.
You know, that's in the network. So being in the network, what does being in the network mean? It means you have a card, you attend the hospital. It's all about which doctor is listed. Not all doctors in Chiron work for insurance companies. So the doctor's got to be listed with the insurer. You take your card, you show it, there's no payment.
Mm-hmm.
If they try and charge you, you're not getting it in the network.
Yeah.
If they try and charge you, then you're outside the network.
But they'll tell you that when you go to the desk.
They should tell, they will tell you that. But obviously, you go see a doctor and they send you to the different doctor because that one happens to be not available suddenly.
Yeah.
So you've got to just make sure that is a network doctor to avoid getting the bill. Yeah. But if you have a reclaim policy, that also offers you the network, you've got the choice.
Yeah.
You can go up to the Chiron and see the doctor, or maybe you go to the core clinic here and reclaim.
Right.
But you can't use a network policy at the core clinic, for instance.
Right. And you think yours is the best one, better than Sanita's, say, or better than in this particular area?
Well, it's all about the level of cover. I've got a good example. A couple of mates of mine both had prostate cancer at a similar time. They both went to the same doctor, Chiron Marbella, and one of them had it extracted by Da Vinci robotic arm. That was covered under the DKV policy.
Right.
The other one with the Sanitas policy went down there, same doctor, same hospital. Sorry, it's not covered.
Right.
Under the Sanitas policy. So just a different level.
Yeah.
So what I find is DKV offer the state-of-the-art treatments sooner than the others.
Yeah.
Others will follow in due course, by which time, hopefully, DKV have added a few more.
Yeah.
You know, each year in January, I check to see what's been added to the policy.
Right.
You know, 3D tomography and all this sort of thing suddenly gets added on. You know, and then we can say, well, you know, if you're pregnant with DKV, you can have the 3D ultrasound scan.
Yeah.
You know, so things keep being added,
Yeah.
and I think DKV lead the way for advanced tech.
Right.
So for me, it's as good as it gets
Wow.
within a network.
Yeah, within the network, yeah.
Then outside the network, if you went up to the higher levels of DKV, you can go anywhere in the world and seek out the best doctor and the best treatment.
I mean, I had a meniscus operation last August, all done by my insurance company, no problem. I haven't paid a penny. I paid a little bit. The surgeon was paid for, the hospital was paid for, everything. But I went to a physio, and that's not paid for because my card didn't work with him.
Right. Yes. You went to a physio outside the network.
Physio outside the network, the Sanitas network, and he said, you can try and claim it back. And I said, well, I can't bother for one visit. But my other knee, I had an operation way back before I came to Spain, and when I got my insurance,
it was excluded.
It was excluded because I declared it as something that I had done.
Yeah.
And they said, okay.
Well, they'll exclude the prosthetics. So any complication for prosthetics will be excluded.
Even on yours?
Yeah, even all the policies in Spain. Any third-party material in your body, any complications from that third-party material, if it pre-exists, the policy date is excluded.
Right. Yeah.
And when coming to Spain, you've got to think. We have a lot of people over 60 coming for the NLV visa, who tell me, "Oh, we're as healthy as anything."
Yeah.
We walk every day.
Until you're not.
And there's nothing wrong with us, and we never go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Suddenly they're paying for insurance. I mean, your average couple for an NLV level policy will be paying something around the region of €2,500 a year for the year. Now, they'll suddenly have the policy and they think, oh, let's go and see the doctors. Oh, look, we can go direct to the cardiologist. We can go direct to the urologist. So they start booking all these appointments. They see the doctor. The doctors do some tests and checks and they announce, oh, you've got furred up arteries. They're 75% furred.
Wow.
Within a week of taking the policy. Well, that's not going to be covered.
No.
Because any insurer in Spain will say that pre-exists the policy. So this is something we warn people about. When they're taking insurance, it's not going to cover anything that developed before the policy started. Very important. A lot of people don't understand that. Oh, but because we didn't know about it and it's never been diagnosed, we should be covered.
No.
Well, if that happened, everyone who had cancer would just take a policy out and say, I didn't know about it when I took the policy.
That's right. Which is probably true, but still, it's a case. That's very, very interesting. For the listeners. I mean, they say this podcast is for the community, and the community out there, would be very interested, I think, in hearing about that. Let's move on. Looking at Sotogrande itself as a place to live. I've just come back from another similar Sotogrande type resort, but in the Caribbean, in the Dominican Republic, and I've got a comparison of the golf courses, and it's very similar because you got there's a place called Casa de Campo, and Teeth of the Dog is there, and it's one of the top things. And I would say that's the Valderrama of Sotogrande. And then they have another one called To Die For, and that is the Real Club Sotogrande. And then there's another one called something else, and it's they have polo, they have very similar. This resort Sotogrande. And you know Sandbanks very well, so it's also not like a resort, but it's sort of a high level residential area, a bit like Wentworth in a way, not quite, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
How would you, looking at Sotogrande as a before and as a resident over time, the infrastructure, the maintenance, the your community fees that you pay are to light up the streets, lighting, it's to keep the public areas and gardens nice and clean, keep everything working. What's your experience? I mean, would you say it's good, bad, indifferent, could be better?
If you live in a high-end community and you want it kept pristine, not all communities are kept pristine. Sometimes there's communities where I'm aware, friends of mine live in, where some people are maybe not contributing, and they're chasing them for payments. But generally speaking, if you find a nice high-end community, you want that pristine, and you've got to pay for that.
But we don't pay for that here.
No.
I mean, we don't pay enough.
No,
it's particularly inexpensive in Sotogrande, the community fees, which go to the EUC for the maintenance. And as I said, I was working it out when I was there. An average townhouse equivalent to here in Sotogrande is paying $2,000 a month for community. So that's 24,000. I multiplied that. They had a budget of 35, 40 million.
Yeah.
Whereas the budget here is I think five and a bit.
Yeah.
And how can you keep it? So it can be improved. It's wonderful. I mean, I'm not saying, and we've got to compare apples with apples because we're comparing Sotogrande with other places in Spain or even along the Costa. But generally speaking, the infrastructure, the roads, the traffic, the number of people that have come in after COVID, of course, we have 8,000 residents, maybe 8.5, I believe, whereas pre it was 2.5, 3,000. So it's all changed. Any experiences about all that? The traffic?
I live down near in an area called Camford Cliffs, which is down near just inside of Sandbanks. To travel around that area was pretty free flowing. Yeah. This is even more free flowing. To get to A to B, there's never any traffic. It's a wide space really. Yeah. And the nice thing about it is you've got all this nice infrastructure, safe infrastructure, and you live here, but you've got a lot around us. We spend a lot of time going away for weekends. We go down to Tarifa, we go to Cádiz city, Seville, Málaga, all within easy drive. Yeah. The motorway's not even difficult, I used to dread getting on that M3 from Poole to London. It's 3 lines of traffic, all racing at about 80, 90 mile an hour, bumper to bumper, and you don't get that here.
I mean, Totally agree. I mean, and Sotogrande is heaven in terms of traffic, even compared to Marbella. I mean, it's we don't have traffic jams. We have one traffic light now. Do you know where it is? Outside Corte Inglés, which is a zebra crossing. So it's not even a traffic. It's for people. So from the very top to the very bottom, on a bad day it's 15 minutes, and a good day it's 10 minutes. Yeah. And it'll be a gardener you're following who's going slow because whatever. We don't complain about that, but infrastructure generally, I mean, obviously healthcare, hospitals, doctors, dentists.
Well, I was going to mention there's a good service that we have in this area. It works the Costa del Sol called Helicópteros Sanitarios.
Yes.
It's not an insurance, it's a home GP service. Yeah. And also a paramedic service. So, you have a problem in the middle of the night with your kids, you can ring up Helicópteros 24/7. The ambulance normally, I mean, we've used them over the many years, and the ambulance normally takes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get here. Yeah. Your kid's got a fever, the GP arrives, paramedics there if you need him, but the GP arrives with the nurse, writes a prescription. Yeah. I mean, the only downside in the night time is my wife's sending me down to the on-duty chemist. There's always one open at 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning to get the prescription immediately.
Of course.
That's another service that's available to people, and it doesn't cost that much a year.
I know. I use it, and sorry, I have a membership. And I've had to use it not for myself, but when I lived in the port, a neighbour. I was in the house and I heard help, and I went down the stairwell, and this lady had fallen over and broken her leg. And she said, please, help me out. Of course I did. And she said, go to my fridge, on the card is a number, call this number. In 15 minutes they were there. Yeah. And the only question they ask is, which hospital shall I take you to?
Yes.
Which is then, I suppose, important if you do have private healthcare.
You've got to know where to take them.
Them. Yes.
Because, a lot of people will go have private healthcare that only lets them use the medical network in Spain, which means you have to go to listed hospitals for A&E. Yeah. If you have the reimbursement, the higher level, the more costly healthcare, then you can literally go anywhere. And if you get a bill at the public hospital for treatment, then at least you can reclaim that bill. But with the network policy, you must use a hospital. I mean, the nearest one to us is Quirón in Palmones. Yes. 15 minutes drive and you're in the A&E. Yeah. Never more than 2 or 3 people in there whenever we've been there.
I know. I mean, I had to use it. I fell off my bike and broke my elbow, literally.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And it was a Sunday, about 2:00. Friend happened to drive by, took me home. Stephanie took me to the hospital, and I was attended in 3 seconds. And then kept in because they said, look, we try and operate straight away. That was a Sunday. I did it. The operation actually happened on the Tuesday because they didn't have what I wanted. They wanted a brace rather than the other way around.
Yeah.
But it all worked so well.
Yeah.
And I've been there a couple of times because of varicose veins, would you believe?
Yes.
Big veins, I had to take them out. And that was all covered by the insurance and done, beautifully well.
That's covered as long as it's for medical reasons, not for aesthetic reasons.
Well, it was because there was advice to take them out. I mean, I didn't say I didn't like
If
them.
the doctor says it needs to be taken out for a reason, you
Yeah.
can't say I've got a varicose veins, I want them taken out because they
No,
don't
no,
look
no.
very nice. But I mean, a lot of insurance companies will say, oh yes, we've approved you for the new knee, the new hip, we've approved you for the pacemaker. But what they don't tell you is when you wake up in the morning, there's a bill there for the pacemaker or the prosthetic.
Right.
A lot of companies will charge you for,
Or a percentage, maybe even.
no, they just charge you for the unit. A lot of companies will charge you for donor ligament tissue, donor skin tissue.
Wow.
Even transplant organ.
Yeah.
So it's insured. If you have an issue, they'll do the treatment, the procedure, but suddenly you'll find, and this is what happens if you pay too little for the insurance.
Yeah.
These are the sort of things that suddenly aren't insured. Fortunately, with the DKV policy that we sell, all these are included.
Yeah. So if I went from my provider to DKV now, and I've told you about a bad knee that was pre whatever you call it, you would a policy. What would I be signing? What would you be asking me? As a 67-year-old man.
The policies are self-declared, so you self-declare what you've had, and basically self-declaring means that they may ask questions. So if you've got a bad back, a lot of people have bad backs. They want to know exactly which part of the back and a little bit more detail about it. All Spanish insurers would exclude pre-existing conditions. Unfortunately, some people will say, "Oh yeah, no, we've gone with DKV and they've insured all our conditions." And I'll say, "I think you've been misled by someone.
Yeah.
Someone sold you a policy, and you've given them the application form, but they've not uploaded that information correctly into the system, and you've got a policy because I know for a fact what we can insure and what we can't insure. And a pre-existing condition will not be insured.
Right.
Some conditions, if you declare them, you won't even get a policy.
Yeah.
So of course there are a lot of people out there who maybe don't say anything about any conditions because simply they want the visa. A lot of people are doing that at the moment, and again, Trustpilot's got plenty of examples where they've been rushed into hospital, and the results are that they've had several heart attacks.
Yeah.
And it's all shown up on the ECG and the checks. They can see that they've had the heart attacks. They didn't declare them. Suddenly, the insurance company's not offering them the cover.
Yeah.
But they only took the policy because they wanted the visa, so they didn't declare it.
Yeah.
This happens a lot,
Right.
When you read the complaints for all the companies, Sanitas, ASA, whichever insurance company you go with, Medifiat, when you read the reviews, quite often I'll read the reviews and think that person doesn't understand how a medical network insurance operates. And just assumes that because they didn't know about it and it was never diagnosed, that they're going to be covered.
So what do you see? How do you see the Sotogrande developing anymore? So because over the last 20 years you've seen it develop.
And just on what we're doing at the moment in Sotogrande with medical insurance, obviously we have a lot of information about the person who's coming, and there's a big influx of Europeans. We're seeing a lot of Europeans coming here. Once upon a time it was big influx of British, continual come of British. Not so many now, for me, I find, but a lot more Belgium, Dutch, not too many Germans, interestingly, but they all seem to be in Mallorca. The DKV, when we have DKV gatherings in
conferences or whatever you call
that sort of thing, when we have those, the DKV agents in Mallorca just sell to Germans. And I say, well, we don't see hardly any Germans, but they're selling DKV. Obviously, Germans love DKV because they know it from Germany, But so we're seeing a lot of Europeans, and recently we've been seeing
Eastern Europeans.
Yeah, we get plenty of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been seeing quite a few from Italy, France, and Portugal.
Right.
People coming back who've left Sotogrande, had a policy with us, moved to Portugal for the reasons we know about, usually tax.
Yeah.
But suddenly deciding, oh, remember that policy we had? Could we have it again?
Right.
And they're coming back from Portugal. So we're seeing a lot of that.
Okay. That's interesting. Because, I mean, Sotogrande itself, when I look at it from a real estate point of view, we see that demand, I call it the perfect storm in a positive way for Sotogrande. We're seeing, obviously, Eastern Europeans coming, and you only have to look at the number plates around the place and see a lot of Poles and Estonians and Latvians and that sort of thing. They're there because of the fear of what's happening, and usually they're people that have the finances to be able to come and have a second home here and a safe haven and a place in the sun. We have the Americans that you described, who are coming over because of the political issues that are happening over in the US, and therefore a little bit of concern. We actually have returning Brits that sort of about this, but then they're biting the bullet and saying, look, we'll come here because of the lifestyle, the sunshine, everything that the cost of the soul offers, the California of Europe, if you want, offers, and they want to come back. Then we have some Middle Eastern expats coming back, going to Manchester or London or somewhere, and it's dark and cold and everything else, and saying, well, we have the apartment in there and the big house down here in the Costa, because we're not used to that lifestyle anymore, and we want this type of lifestyle, which is what we can offer here on the Costa, and Sotogrande gets its fair share of it. And then, funny enough, we have people from Marbella. People that were bought there 30 years ago in their 30s are now in their 60s and 70s saying, Marbella is not the place I used to be, I'm not a party animal anymore, the infrastructure's changed so well, so I can be down back to my favourite restaurant, my friends, once or twice a week if I wanted to, but back here in Sotogrande where it's quietly. They've sold their place in Marbella, bought a similar house here and put $1 million in their back pocket because it's less expensive here than over there. So all of that is helping Sotogrande. And I think a little bit of the concern that I see happening is in the summer we are saturated, and if that happens more and more and more throughout the other months of the year, then we would have an issue. And it's something that it's not going to happen tomorrow, but little by little, if it's not sorted, it'll be a problem, I think. The infrastructure issues.
Yeah.
Just before we go, it took me a while to get you into that chair because you're always away. Tell me about your trips. You go off to different parts of Spain because you love Spain.
Obviously, I have parents in Galicia, so twice a year or three times a year I travel up to Galicia. Mm-hmm. And we do that in stages. So we're not the sort that want to get in a car and drive for the 12 hours to get there. Yeah. So we'll do 3 nights on the way up, 3 nights on the way back, stopping in different cities and different places. But end of the week comes, if I've got no golf tournament on the weekend, no ranking, no medal, then I'll say to Jackie, well, why don't we go to Tarifa for the night? Yeah. Why don't we go to Cádiz? Why don't we go to Málaga? Yeah. We'll do nights away. It's easy. Yeah. Even Portugal's not that far from here. Yeah. We can get to Portugal in 4 hours and have a nice weekend and then come back. But so that now that we have no dogs, that's a lot easier.
Isn't that amazing? I'm thinking of getting a dog.
And we've
do that now.
We've had 2 dogs, and they are a tie. And sometimes the kennels that we like to, the lady who looked after them, she might be busy. And I've already planned to go for the weekend, and then we decide, we can't do it. But no children, no dogs, and suddenly we're here, there, and everywhere. Right. And that's the reason you took such a long time to get here.
So this is where you're going to end up. Sotogrande is where you're going to go. You're not going to go uproot and go somewhere else. This is where you're happy. Kids are here.
I think so. I think so. I always fancy maybe having 3 months somewhere. Yeah. Maybe spend 3 months in Turkey and but come back. Yeah.
This is your base.
Yeah. Now, yeah. My idea is if I'm not going to that office anymore, then I can go and rent somewhere for 3 months. Yeah. Stay the 3 months within the visa period, come back to Soto. Yeah. Backwards and forwards, retain the base here, and see a little bit more.
Life is good.
It's not too bad.
Very good. Yeah. Francis, thank you very much for being on.
Thank you, Charlie.
There you are, Francis Payne. Anything about healthcare? I'll put down the details in there so you can contact him and get some more information directly from Francis. See you next time. Thank you.